Hello, co-artisans. My name is Shonda, and welcome to my channel, Under the Needle Quilting and Crafts. Now, I have not talked to y'all in a minute. I did not make a video last Thursday, and I didn't make a video the Thursday before that. The first Thursday I missed, I had a valid reason. I had some technical difficulties, and basically, what happened is I use a hub, right? So I work off a laptop. And my laptop only has like 3 ports where I can plug in peripheral devices like cameras, microphones, lights, and stuff like that. And the one that I was using, it just kind of died. It stopped working. It was glitchy. It kept going in and out, and I needed to replace it. And so that's why I didn't make a video the first Thursday that I missed. And so I went out and I didn't go out. I went on Amazon. And this is what I use. Something like this. I had a smaller, cheaper, more flimsy one before. But you can see where you can plug in multiple devices and you can turn those devices on and off with the buttons. And you can see here, this takes 4 devices, which isn't enough. So I bought this and then realized that's not enough because I have the microphone, I have 2 cameras, so that's already 3, and then I had a light. That's already 4. So it's already filled up. So I already bought another one, and I'm going to be sending this back to Amazon. I got another one that has like 10 or 11. And I did buy some new lights. I bought some new lights, but I have not plugged those in and gave them a try yet. But, so far I'm good. I also bought a laptop stand. So fun fact about me that y'all don't know is I used to be a mega home shopping person. I mean, it's probably not that surprising when you see all the fabric behind me, but I used to be a serious home shopping person. And the best thing that ever happened to me was probably back in like 2016, 2017. They changed the channels that those programs were on. For me, HSN, or the Home Shopping Network, was on channel 15. QVC was on channel 16. And Shop NBC, I think Shop NBC was on 17. So they were all 3 together, 15, 16, 17. And every morning, like how you get up and you put on the news or whatever, I would get up and I would put on one of those channels and I'd be watching and I'd be watching and I'd be watching. And like I said, back in 2017, they changed the channel that those, and at my age, that was just too much of an adjustment. It was too much for me to adjust to, for them to be on different channels. Because like literally for as long as I had known, for like 10, 15 years, they were on those channels for me in my market. 15, 16, 17. And now you're telling me it's on channel, 197 for one of them, 220 for the other. I'm like, I can't. And I literally stopped shopping like overnight, basically. Like I bought the Singer sewing machine that you guys don't know about that I had. I bought that off there because I couldn't afford at that point in my life to drop $600 on a sewing machine. So I used FlexPay. The first flat screen TV I ever bought, I bought it on HSN. And that was back when HSN did not charge sales tax. So I didn't have to pay sales tax on it. So it was just the price. And, you get free shipping and stuff like that. I had bought so much stuff. Although I was grateful in a way that the channels changed and I stopped shopping, I learned so much about like skincare. Like there's so much about skincare that I never would have known if it had not been for HSN. Like I thought my entire life that I needed to be using these, because I used to have oily acneic skin. And, we're kind of taught without being taught that because our skin is pigmented, that it's tougher and stronger than others' skin. And that's just not true. But it's something that, sometimes African-American girls can grow up believing that our skin is tougher than other skin, that our skin can't be sensitive Like, we can't have sensitive skin. Well, I had sensitive skin. And a lot of the products that I had been taught to use my entire life, not taught by my family, but just taught in general, were these like heavy, like, um, like the Neutrogena scrubbing washes and the the who used to make that awful avocado scrub with the granules in it? Who say knives? Like, I'm using that kind of stuff on my skin. Um, Not for me. I truly found out I had sensitive skin because I bought a Clarisonic off of QVC, and that thing ruined my skin barrier. I'm glad they stopped selling that thing, because I don't think anybody needs aggressive scrubbing like that on their skin, on their facial skin at least. But anyway, I was back to the point, I was a huge fan. And one of the things that I purchased was some dishes. I purchased like quite a few sets of dishes. I bought the set of Emerald cookware, like back in the day. And then in 2015, when I was moving into this house, Curtis Stone came out with a set of cookware. I still use that cookware today. I still have that Emerald cookware today. It still performs really well. I've had to upgrade some pieces. So I do have like 3 Ninja pans that I added to the collection, and one very, very, very large, like 8 or 10 quart stock pot that I needed for when I make chili. But for the most part, I'm still using the cookware that I bought off of QVC and HSN, right? But I also bought something called Temptations, which was this like pretty kind of fancy bakeware, ceramic bakeware, right? And I used to love to set the table because each little pan had its own little holder and a glass trivet, right? So there would be a glass trivet that matched the color. I chose orange. Mine was like orange and cream. And there was a glass trivet that would go down here, right? And then you would put the pan, the baking dish here. And I had the 9x13, and then this was like a smaller one. And I think there was another one that was smaller than this or something like that. There were like 3 of them. Now, I still have some of the dishes. Of course, over time, things have broken, but I still have, some of them. I still have the big 9x13, and I think I still have the 8x8 dish. I believe the dish that fits in this, I don't have anymore. I believe that's one of the ones that broke over time, because this is back in 2010, maybe. So we're talking 15 years ago. It's been a while, but I don't use these anymore, right? So I was using this as a laptop stand. So I would sit it like this, and I would set my laptop, and you see I'm missing one of the feet. So my laptop would be a little wobbly, but I liked it because I could put stuff underneath. So the laptop wasn't flat to the desk and taking up space. I could put like the little hub that I use, I could put it under there, and the cords to get them out the way, I could stick them under there. But now I have an actual real laptop stand. So it was cheap. It was like $15. I didn't spend a ton of money. But so, I'm moving up in the world. I'm using a laptop stand for real instead of repurposing an old baking dish holder. Anyway, so yeah, that was fun. I've also bought some new lights, but I haven't had a chance to plug them in and try them out and figure out if I want to keep them or not, or if I am going to keep them, what's the best positioning, that kind of stuff. So anyway, fun fact. So I do have some personal stuff to talk about, but first we'll get into the projects for those of you who are here for that. And then I'll get into my personal stuff and just, my normal ranting that I like to do. So I finished this blanket. So this blanket was held using one strand of a line of yarn that no longer exists. It was just discontinued. I'm a little upset about that because I actually do like the yarn. So of course I find a yarn, buy it, and then they immediately stop selling it, of course. But I was holding one strand of this Premier Rustic yarn, and I was holding one strand of this Red Heart all-in-one granny square yarn. I ended up using 7 skeins, 7 full skeins. I didn't feel like this was enough to finish another row. I knew it wasn't. So I used 7 full skeins of the Premier Rustic, and I ended up using 3 and some change of this Red Heart all-in-one granny. I could have stopped I could have stopped when I reached the end of the 3rd skein of this, but I still had quite enough left of this to do like 3 or 4 more rows. So I just busted out another skein. I don't intend to use this yarn the way it was intended to be used to make granny squares, so I don't really care about that. Also, this yarn came cut. It came to me like that. I was supposed to return it to Amazon. I did not. So I'm like, and this is center pull. It's an easy center pull also. So I'm like, why not just bust open the broken skein and, the one that got cut, and use that. And so I did. This ended up being 60 by 62 without it being stretched out. It's quite heavy. It's quite heavy because we're talking about, let's see, the Premier Rustic is 7 ounces. So that's 42 ounces plus, how many ounces is this? Where's it at? 8.8. So that's, what's that, 26.4 plus 42? I can't do all that math right now. But this blanket is probably a couple pounds. Well, more than it's probably like 3 or 4 pounds. I'll show it to you guys. I do love how it came out. I got other stuff over here. It's so heavy. It's incredibly warm, but not too much so, because since it's all made in double crochets, it's got some gaps. So even though it's heavy and warm, there's still a breathability about it. But this will end up getting donated. I will not be keeping this. It's just too big. It's too heavy. So it's going to go to somebody. I just don't know who. Probably just donate it to a place. I have a whole donation pile just stacking up. And I just need to get my ass out in the world and actually drop it off somewhere. Oh, so that's one project complete. Now in my crochet world, I'm only allowed to, I can't have unlimited projects going like I do in my quilting world. I don't want my crochet to be as out of control with unfinished projects like my quilting is. So I'm not allowed to work on so much at one time. So I have one project at work that stays at work. It stays there. And I only work on it when I have time at work, on breaks and stuff, if I even take a break, if I have time. Lately, I haven't had a lot of time, so I have not made a lot of progress on my work project, but it stays there. For home, I'm allowed to have one blanket and one wearable, or just, 2 projects in general. I try to make one of the projects to be something super easy and not complex, right? So I can just pick it up and work on it without thinking about it. So that's what that blanket was, because it was literally just double crochet. I did not use stitch markers like I know I need to. I dropped and picked up stitches throughout. I'm not worried about it. So if I was to actually measure it like in various places, it would be completely different sizes by an inch maybe, because I dropped stitches. I think I started out whatever my starting chain was. I think it was like 70. It should have had 74 stitches per row. I ended up at 72, and that was because I did some fudging. So yeah, there's all that. So yeah, fun times. Now in the Open Gate Quilt subscription box, there was a greeting card which I made. Here are the scraps from when I made it. I thought I took a picture of it, but I did not. But I gave it to my grandmother for her birthday card, because I thought that was better than buying one from the Dollar Tree. And I thought you know how you can you actively remember yourself doing something and then realize it never happened. And that's what happened, because I could have swore I took a picture right here when I was done with it, that I sat it down, that I took my camera out and took a picture. But when I went back into my camera settings, there was no picture. So clearly I didn't do it. But I would have bet money on it. Like, I would have bet $1,000 that I had taken that picture. That's how certain I was. That's how certain I was that I had taken a picture. But I had not. I had not. So I'm a little disappointed I don't have a picture, but that's fine, because my grandmother's one of those people that keeps everything forever. So I'm sure she's going to keep that thing forever. So I did finish the card, and I got started with one of the other projects in the Open Gate Quilt subscription box. We were making this Carrot Patch table runner. I decided I was not going to do the applique. But I also replaced the background fabric with some of this Henry Glass background, because this was a Henry Glass line. So I thought this would be better than using the solid or using the alternate fat quarter that we used. So it's starting to come together. I've got one quadrant put together. This does go together, I believe, in 4 quadrants. Actually, no, it's 6. 6 small quadrants. Is how it comes together. I am done with quadrant 1. I also chose to do a little strip piecing because I saw that this project could be strip pieced. You do have to pay attention though, and you might have to repress some things, but I was fine with that. So I've got the rest of it cut out. My background is somewhere. I've got stuff all over the place. Where are my backgrounds? Rectangles. There they go. Everything's cut out and ready to go. I'll probably end up putting some of this together today, probably, when I get off work, or maybe on my break. I'm working from home today. So maybe on my lunch break I will, well, no, because I have a mediation at 12:30, so I don't know. Yeah, so still working on that. Still working on project 2, and then that'll be 2 down, 2 to go. So we'll see if I can get them all done. I'm also still working on this Dagon Ruana. This is why I haven't gotten much done, even though it's been over 2 weeks. The border of this Ruana was a pain for me, mostly because I'm not used to putting borders on. I don't usually. And the way this border went on was that you had to modify the stitch count. You couldn't just do one single crochet in every row or in every stitch, because the stitch pattern for just single crochets was different. Well, the gauge for just doing single crochets was different than doing the gauge for the project. And so you would end up with a border that was too large, I believe it was. Yeah, I think you would end up with a border that was too large, so you had to do less stitches. And the pattern told you exactly how many to do. But I did not use the stitch count in the pattern, so I had to make some adjustments. And I had to do some math, and I procrastinated that forever. And then once I did the math, then I went and put stitch markers around the entire thing, to tell me where I needed to, you know, how I needed to space those stitches out. I still messed it up. I still didn't get it quite right. I've got way too many stitches coming into the corners. Whatever. So there are 4 rows of border. I've done 3. I'm working on the 4th row. The 4th row of border is reverse single crochet, or also known as the crab stitch. I have never done that stitch before. And like all things new, it's just taking me longer. It takes me probably 3 times as long to do reverse single crochet as it would take me to do a normal single crochet. But I am still going to do it because it does give a very nice effect. So where have I done it? So here are my 3 rows of border. Well, this is the 4th row. So this is that reverse single crochet, that kind of spiral one there. So I'm working on that. Shoot. I had a runaway yarn ball. So it's coming along. It's coming along. It is coming along. So yeah, we'll see. It's coming along. And then once that's done, once I've done around the whole thing, I'm about, how far in am I? I'm not even at the 50% point. I'm probably at the, oh shoot, I hope you guys could hear me. I've knocked over my mic. Shit. So I just realized I've been using the incorrect mic this entire time. Hopefully I don't have to refilm this video. We'll find out in the playback. But for now, we're going to continue. So once I'm done with this, I'm about probably a third of the way through the last bit of border. So once that's done, then I have to go in and put in the vertical stripes. So I've never done surface crochet before, so that's going to be a new thing I'm learning. That's going to take some time too. So yeah, it's going to be a good time. But let me show you how it's coming out. Oh. This girly is big, let me tell you. And this girly is warm. Like, when I'm sitting in bed crocheting this, I am warm. Oof. Oh God, it would help if I put it on right. Hold on. The last thing I want to do is pull out stitches, okay? Because they take a long time. But it's coming out. The border really does add something, and I am going to do the vertical edging because I know that's going to add something too. It's going to really give this garment like a really classy look. One thing I did notice that by me not, when I modified the pattern, I should have modified also the number of rows that I did. I did not. I modified how many stitches I did in my starting chain, but I did not think to modify how many rows that I did. I did the same number of rows, and I did not need to do that because I am a short person, because this was made with a worsted weight yarn, the initial pattern. My pattern, for mine, I used a bulky 5. So I could have taken some of this out for my short self. So for me, this thing almost hits the floor. right? It almost touches the floor. You guys can't see that. Let's see if I can show you. I got all this stuff on the floor. Let's see if I can. Maybe not. No, I can't really show you. Not right now, because I've got too much. I don't have enough slack in the cord on my camera. Sorry for all of the jiggling. I don't have enough slack, but when it's all done, I'll show you. But this thing almost touches the floor. So there's that. Now, of course, since this project is almost done, I had to start another one because the blanket is finished, right? This is almost finished. So I'm allowed to have two, so I've got another project going. I will be making this poncho here. The Big Hook Plus Size Poncho by Creative Grandma. This uses three skeins of Premier Puzzle yarn. I have that. So I am making this. This is how it is starting. I've already made a mistake. I will not be ripping it out. Such is life. One of the rows was supposed to be a double crochet cross stitch, where you skip one, do a double crochet, and then go back into the skipped stitch to do another double crochet. So you end up with this cross pattern. I did not do that, and I just did regular double crochets. Nobody's going to notice that in the final project, so I did not go back and correct that. So that's what I'm working on now. I'm working on this and the poncho. When I get tired of this, I work on the poncho. When I get tired of the poncho, I work on this. Will this be done by Thursday when I do my next video? Probably not, but we'll see. Okay, so I know you guys have heard by now. I was really excited when I heard my local Joann's was going to be staying open. But then, of course, they went to court and they were purchased by a liquidation company. There were no companies that had offers to maintain the company. So all Joann stores will be closing, which is unfortunate. Right now, if you go to the Joann website, you cannot order anything online, but you can order stuff through the app if you're interested. I am not ordering anything, although I am tempted to, right? Because it's the FOMO, it's fear of missing out, right? And every time I get tempted, I go back to my list of projects for yarn, projects that I want to make with yarn that I already have, right? And now we are up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. We are now down to up to 19 projects that I want to make, that I already have the yarn to make, and that doesn't even count for all of the yarn that I have. So every time I'm tempted, I come back to this. Oh no, there's another one. That makes 20. Sorry, 20. So at least one of the projects that I'm making, that poncho, is on the list. So the Big Hook Plus Size Poncho is on the list. So at least when that's done, I can cross that off, and then that'll just be only 19 then, right? Yeah. I've been quite tempted. Also, knowing that the sales really just aren't that good, right? Because it looks like the quantity discount that Joann used to offer is not being offered right now. I can't 100% confirm that, but when I go on the website, I don't see, or the app, I don't see that quantity discount. Maybe I'm missing it. Maybe I'm overlooking it. Maybe if I add it to the cart, it'll come off. I have not done that, but I didn't see it there. I don't remember seeing it there. So there's that. And you can't use coupons. So, like, the yarn that I use to make this is Lion Brand Hue and Me. Love that name, by the way. It's a great yarn. Works up quickly. Washable, dryable. And I believe does it have some wool in it? Is it 100% acrylic? I don't remember. I don't have a label nearby. But it's a great yarn to work with. I believe it's 80-20. Is it 80-20? I might be thinking of Woolies Thick and Quick. I don't know. I got a skein here. Let me see. Yeah, 80-20. 80% acrylic, 20% wool, machine washable, and dryable. So it's got some natural fiber, plus it's washable and dryable. Win-win. Like the yarn. But I was able to get this between $285 and about $350 per skein, right? Because they would put it on sale, and I would get the quantity discount, and then I would layer a coupon on top of that. And so I think one time, I want to say it was like $289 a skein with the quantity discount and the coupon I was using, and the other time it was like $325 a skein. The second time I ordered it, same thing, quantity discount plus a coupon. So to see it on sale for $624 or $674, that's just not a buy. That's not a buy. Maybe it's different in the store, but online, not online, but on the app, that's still online. That's what it costs. And I'm like, I'm good. But I do have a bunch of Joann's yarn that I was going to take back because I bought too much of this because I made 2 different projects with the same colorway. And I don't, I just lost my train of thought. Now I don't know if I want to return it or not, or even if I can return it. I know that anything you buy now, you can't return. But I don't know if I can return stuff that I already bought. But now, I'm considering keeping some of the yarn. I also have some Karen Colorama Halo that I was going to take back. And now I'm like, maybe I just keep it all because of what I paid for it. Between $289 and $325 a skein. And that's less than half of what it's going for now. So, I don't know. I got to decide. We'll see. But it's the end of an era. It is the end of an era. And I'm really kind of ticked. Look, I don't go to Joann's often. I go in spurts, right? So I won't go to Joann 6 months, a year. I might not shop there. And then I'll go and I'll just keep going and going and going and going and going. Like over a 2 or 3 month period or a 6 month period, I'll just be in a Joann thing and I'll just be shopping, just, going, looking, picking up a little thing here, a little thing there. And that's really how I've been, like, for maybe there was like a 6 month period between 2024 and 2025 when I did a lot of that. Or it might have been all 2024. Yeah, pretty much. I don't know. Whatever. Y'all know what I mean. So, I don't know. I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss Joann. I really am. I don't know. Like, that's why I would go get my Minky. A lot of times, like fleece, especially fleece. Sometimes I would get Minky online, but anytime I wanted fleece, that I went to Joann because they would have them killer sales. Like, where else am I going to get fleece for $3.99 a yard? So it is what it is. I am all stashed up. I just have to figure out a way to use what I have because Lord knows I have plenty. So there's that. Yeah. So an end of an era. End of an era. I really don't like the fact that Joann's is closing. I don't like it at all. I don't like it at all. And final thing I'll say, not about Joann, this is about something else. there's a little crochet drama happening on my timeline. I'm not going to mention any names. I'm not going to mention any creators. I'm not even going to mention the craft. But a person that I follow was doing a make-along, right? And it looks interesting. I'm like, oh, that looks interesting. So I save it to my little YouTube playlist so I can come back and watch it when it premieres or after it premieres. So the live premieres, I don't get to watch it, but I go back and I watch the replay. And at this point, yeah, I go back and I watch the replay. So I'm watching and I get about 10 minutes in and immediately I'm like, I'm not doing this, right? Because first things first, either tell me up front, because everybody that sees your YouTube video might not be on your webpage or your Facebook group, or they might not have seen a previous video. They might be just seeing this make-along video for the first time, and they're like, oh, that sounds like a decent project. I might want to make that with y'all. We got nothing about requirements, right? So I didn't see, at the time at least, in the description, what the requirements were, what the organizers of the make-along, what they were going to be doing, what they were using. So the first 10 minutes, I'm like, I want to know, what pattern are we doing? Where can I buy the pattern? What yarn are y'all using? What hook size are y'all using? I'm following along for that stuff. And as they're talking about how they don't like the pattern that they chose to do the make-along with. Well, why are you doing a make-along? Why did you choose to do a make-along to a pattern that you don't like and haven't tested? Somebody make that make sense, right? So I'm like, okay, if y'all are sitting here talking about y'all don't like the pattern, you don't like the way it's written, and that you're struggling with the pattern. Okay, well, I haven't been crocheting that long. Although technically I taught myself, it's been over 20 years. Yeah, I was 20 years old when I taught myself. 22 maybe? 22? When I taught myself how to crochet. So over 25 years ago. But I've only just picked it up recently, picked it back up in the past couple of years. And so if y'all are struggling to make this, how am I supposed to make it? So I'm out, right? And I'm thinking that's it. I'm done. But then on the timeline, I see a video, and the person that wrote the pattern made a video. And I guess since I follow the person that was doing the make-along, and because I had watched or saved that video to a playlist and watched a portion of it, this video came up of the maker of the pattern responding to what was going on. And at this point, I guess video 2 in the make-along series had came out, and the pattern designer basically made a video and came out and was like, why y'all trashing my pattern? Didn't y'all test this out? Didn't you check it out to make sure it was going to meet your needs before you recommended it to all of your followers to go buy? Appreciate the business, but why didn't you test it out before you? And that was my thing. If I'm going on to a make-along and the first thing you're going to do is discourage me because the pattern is confusing, then I'm not going to want to participate. But the pattern designer came out and she made a video and she was like, I couldn't make contact with the runner of the make-along, the organizer, but I did leave a long comment addressing her issues with the pattern. And I guess they didn't see that, because then they made a second video, entry number 2, because she made that on their first video. So then entry number 2 of the make along, the second video, further trashed and bashed the pattern. Now, y'all know me. I have unboxed many a thing that I was not a fan of, but I try, even when I say I don't like something or that something is not for me, I try to be a bit more constructive. I don't know. It was the whole tone of it, the whole tone of the way that they were talking about this person's work. I didn't like it. It rubbed me the wrong way. And that was another reason why I tapped out. And I'm not doing that pattern. But after hearing the pattern designer, after hearing the creator, I went on to her Etsy shop and purchased her pattern. Because I just didn't like the way they were bashing. I didn't like it. It left a bad taste in my mouth. And, I've got a video that I'm going to be making coming up talking about a pattern that I don't like. And I think I've mentioned it before, and, to get some feedback from you guys, because I want to make sure that I address it in a way that I'm not, bashing the pattern designer and saying, the issues that I had without being, mean. I wanted to do it in a constructive way, and I just felt like this was not done constructively. This is a person that's running a business. This is probably her income stream. This is probably how she makes her money, right? And while we don't want to give false kudos to someone, there's a way that we can critique without being damaging. You know what I mean? But I kind of liked seeing this because it kind of gave me some feedback on how I want to handle my video when I talk about the pattern that I struggled with. And hopefully mine has a better tone than what I heard. So I, just a little crochet dramas. It's not a whole lot of drama in the crochet world, It's not, but this was a little bit. It was a little. I'm not gonna say it was spicy, because it wasn't. It wasn't spicy. It was just the make along, and then the pattern designer coming back to provide some clarity and context, because she's defending her work. She's defending her business. So it was interesting. It was interesting. But I did want to. I appreciated the class and the tact that she had when she addressed the people that were bashing her pattern. I had a deep appreciation for that. So I immediately went and bought it. I went and bought the pattern, and maybe I'll try to make it. Maybe I won't. I don't know. If I have enough yarn, I've already given away that it's a crochet thing. I already did it because I said crochet world. Okay. Anyway, there's a lot of people in the crochet world. There's a lot of crocheters that I follow, and there are a lot of crocheters right now that are doing make-alongs. Quite a few. I'm not participating in any of them, but I just didn't want to use any names or anything like that. If you guys know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. If you know, you know. But this is just, I haven't heard anybody talking about it. I don't expect anyone to be talking about it. It was just interesting to me because I wasn't expecting the pattern designer to make a video, because this was a couple, I looked at the video. I didn't like the tone of it. And so I was like, not for me. And I thought that was it. And then when she made a video, I was like, I wonder if this video, because they mentioned her by name. Like when they talked about her pattern, they mentioned her by name, first and last name. So then when I saw a video from that same first and last name, and I saw the title of the video, I'm like, I wonder if she's addressing them or is this something different? So I clicked on it and watched it, and I was like, ooh, But like I said, I kind of liked it because it gave me some perspective on how I want to handle my video or any video I make going forward where I am, saying that I don't like something. And, because I try to do that. I do that often. I open these boxes and, my subscriptions, and I look at it and I'm like, this is not for me, but this is what you could do. Or, and I try to be objective about it and things like that. And I felt like that the pattern critique was missing a little bit of that. And I just really appreciated, like I said, how classy the pattern designer was when, I felt like she gave them a lot more grace than they gave her. And yeah, so that's really all I want to say. I'm still going to be doing a video on Thursday. But I just kind of wanted to catch up a little bit because I do have some other stuff I want to talk about on Thursday. Hopefully this will be done, right? Wouldn't that be great? I'm not optimistic though, but wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great? I would love to get this border done today, but I am not optimistic, but we shall see. But if I can get this border done today and be able to start the vertical stitching, that would be so awesome and amazing. So awesome and amazing. But I do know what blanket I'm going to be working on next. Actually, no, I take that back. I thought I knew. Well, no. I do know what blanket I'm going to be working on next because it should be fast and easy. It uses woolies thick and quick. So hopefully it'll make it work up quickly. But I know it's March. And if I'm not done with that blanket by May, it's going to be too hot in my, for me to be, like once June comes, it's going to be too hot for me to be sitting in my house with a heavy blanket on. So that's why I want to move to lighter projects. I'm going to be moving to some lighter projects. I do have a blanket that I want to make that uses kind of a lighter weight yarn. So maybe I'll make that for the summer and make it kind of a long-term project. Or, the poncho is working up very lightweight. So, we'll see. We shall see. I wish I had kept track of how many skeins of yarn went into this project. I honestly really wish I had kept track, but I did not, at all, keep track. I wish I had. I need to do better with that. But anyway, guys, that's all I have to say. I'll be back next Thursday to finish this up. Not finish this up, but to talk about some other stuff. And that kind of thing. But right now, since I hadn't been out here in 2 weeks, I was afraid that if I waited until Thursday to try to talk about everything, it was going to be way too much. This video was already coming in on 50 minutes. My apologies. But this was fun for me. It went by super fast. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys on Thursday. I friggin' promise I'm going to make a video on Thursday. But that's for me, and I'll see you on the next one.